Welcome everyone to the opening webinar. What we're going to be talking about is when you're using the trial version and you're running the ActiveActive high SCSI auto failover and you're using it in production, which does happen. That's why we're creating this video, and we've had some cases with it. And what we're wanting to show is that there is no downtime if you're going to enter in live product keys. So that way you can update the product key from the trial key and use a full version. As you know, all the trial versions do come with unlimited. As you can see here, the license storage capacity is unlimited, and it also comes with all the other features as well as the ActiveActive auto failover. So you could use this for 60 days. So let's say you do purchase a product key. What do? And you don't want any downtime. Well, let's take a look. Right now you see I have two DSS V7s. I've got node A, as you see up here, and then I've got node B. Let's go verify that the failover is working. Here we see our cluster status is running with an OK. Now what I've done is I've created two iSCSI targets, and I am running some virtual machines from VMware. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run right through it and put the product key. But before we do the product key, what we want to do is make sure we move all the resources over to one of the nodes. And then verify that the resources are working and verify your virtual machines are running, and then apply the product key and reboot the system. So let's go ahead and take a look. If we scroll down, we want to get to the resource manager. So here on the local node, which is node A that I'm on, and also you can see it's noted up here. Now this is very important to identify your targets with the node. So here in my naming convention, as you can see, it states node-A target 0. So this is really good for administrative reasons. What we want to do is we want to move all the resources on node A over to node B. And to do that, we just go to Move to Remote Node, click on it, select Move again. And this is moving those resources in that target, that iSCSI volume, over to node B. And as you see, since it's moved, we can now go ahead and update using the product key. So I've stored the product key. Let's take a node A product key that I've saved right here and copy it. You can also get this on your user portal in case you ever need it. And then here we'll go to Help, About Data Storage Software V7, and scroll down to the extension keyloaders. Now it's immediately going to present a message. Don't be alarmed. It's there to let you know that the product key is not supported unless you have the ActiveActive license key. Well, when we boot up, when we're going to add that key in there, and then there's no reboot necessary. So, and then we'll be able to move the resources back. So what we're going to go is we're going to reboot the system. We're going to go shutdown, maintenance, shutdown. Now we'll go to restart. And now the system's going to right now be restarted. But let's check to see if our virtual machines are running. What I did was, remember, on node A there was target 0, and on node B there is target 1. So if we go to VMware, we go in our configuration and we select under the hardware storage. Here we can see our data stores. I've noted them as V7-1, and this is going to be for the target 0. So if we go to Manage Paths, and here down on the bottom where my mouse is, you'll see the iSCSI, the adapter, you'll see the iSCSI alias or target name, and you'll see there is node-A target 0. So this is where I have the virtual machine coming from. If we look at I created one Ubuntu 1 and 2, and one is a target 0. So here if we look at the settings, you can see that the hard disk is coming from the V7 right up here for the disk file. If we go into the console of the Ubuntu 1, the system that I have running, and we log on, now we're on to the virtual machine. We can browse the web. Let's just click on products and let's go to OpenEDSS v7. As you see, we are running. So this is really good. We can even look at the files, and we go in the file system, and you notice there's no delay, and it's just as if the performance is just as good. So you know that there is some type of availability for your virtual machines or for your data. So this is how the ActiveActive can really help. Let's go back to the DSS. As we wait for the node A to come back online, let's go back to node B. We are going to get some messages, so you're going to get some events. This will also come up on the emails if you set up your email. That's set up administrator settings, and then of course if you scroll down you'll be able to click on here and set up your email. So make sure you set up your email so you can receive the events. Or if you click here on the event viewer, you can see what took place. So remote node is going down, auxiliary paths, host binding connections, it's asking to please check. So we're always going to provide you these messages. If we look at the volume manager in volume replication, you'll see that now both of these are in source, where typically one would be in destination, which would be the LV00 was previously in destination. Once we moved all the resources from node A to B, B took over and now is the source for the volumes. If I go to configuration, iSCSI target manager and targets, just to let you know how my naming convention is bestly used, is I use the, if you look up here, node-A target 0. So you want to really name it. To name it, if you scroll down for your target, they must be the same name. So the target names need to be the same for both node A and node B. Here you can see the naming convention. Of course, you cannot change it. The only way you can change it if you stop the failover service, the cluster service. So you can't make any changes, and you really don't want to. You can always add other targets and more targets. Let's go see if the other system, node B, is online. And here it looks like it is. Let's log in. And let's go ahead and prepare for the ActiveActive license key. And let's get it for the node A. So it's a little different of the activation key. It doesn't have the dashes for the ActiveActive license key. So again, we want to go into help about into the extensions key loader, and we'll paste that in. And we're ready to go on the next step. So what we're going to do now is go back into setup, failover, and then we're going to move the resources back over. And as you can see, the status is running. Looks like right now everything's back to normal until we move the resources over. Also, we also inform you to activate, so you have 30 days. So there's plenty of time. Now what we could do is from here, if you remember, we're on node A, and that's our target 0 that we assign for node A. What we want to do is move it back to the local node. So let's click on Move to Local Node. And this only takes a second. And it's going to be syncing back, and it's going to move from where the volume replication was to source on node B and put it back on the source on node A. And there you go, resources were moved successfully. Now we're going to repeat the same steps for node B like we did. So we want to move all the resources from node B over to node A. We don't have to be at node B to do this. So we can stay right here on node A. It's real simple. Again, node B, target 0 right here. And it's on the remote node to referencing to node B. So what we're going to do is move to local node. And so it's moving the resources that over to node A. And again, and the volume replication, node A will all be source volumes. So let's go ahead and get our key. It's successfully moved over. So we'll go to node B and grab the product key. Go to node B, go to Help About, Data Storage Software. Of course, you get messages to let them know that the users, so remember to set up your emails. We'll scroll down to the bottom, apply the key. Again, don't worry about the warning. It's until you put the ActiveActive license key in when you boot back up, and there's no reboot, and it's pretty instant. So now we'll go ahead and go to maintenance, shut down, and restart. Now again, if we go back to VMware, and we look to our virtual machines, Ubuntu 2 is referencing to the storage of the node B target 1, so which will be v7-2, and that's where the VMDK is taken in. And if we look at our data stores, so we'll go to our ESX host, and this is v7-2, and it should show us the properties on once we go to manage paths, and we see down here that the target IQN name is node-B target 1. So that means we're still up, running, and let's go into our virtual machine. So here we are. If we look and we go into, let's say, one of the directories, let's go click back, and let's just say we decide to go to any of the to root. You see it's active. Let's take another one, and let's say user, and you got games, local, and you can see it's relatively quick. So there's no downtime at all. So this is very helpful. And also for Ubuntu 1, that is up as well for obvious reasons because we moved all the resources. So both of them, that's how the ActiveActive can really help out here. Let's go ahead and go back to the node A while node B is booting. I want to point something out for your activating. Here again, it's going to state that the replication state is in there. It's not synchronized, so the status is going to state not synchronized. If we go to help about, I want you to take a look here. It says the product activation. Again, you have 30 days. You have two types of activation. One's online, one's offline activation. The online activation is very simple. You just want to make sure that you're able to connect to the internet. You want to make sure your gateway set, your DNS, and you're able to connect to your router effectively, and you want to make sure that you're not blocking ports 25 or 10,444. So we have a notation down here. You can see these notations here, and there's also, if you click on the question mark, there's also additional help information. By the way, the question mark works for all the features, so there's a lot of detailed information. The offline activation, this is in case you are not able to be able to get online. Maybe you're in a secured zone or you're in a data center and you're newly setting up so you don't have internet access or they haven't granted it to you. For whatever reason, you could just save the file. It saves it as obviously what we call a hardware stamp. So that's why we have HWS, and of course the serial number in front of it. So you can save that file and then just email that to activation@activation-key.com. All right, let's check to see if node B is back online, and let's log in. Looks like it is. Now let's go ahead and copy our ActiveActive activation key. So that will be for node B. Key's already been added, so that's good. Now, what we're going to do is go right into Failover. And you can also do this on node A to move the resources, but since we're already here, we want to find out if the cluster status is running on node B, which it is. Let's go ahead and scroll down. Again, we just give you the system is not activated, so you need to activate it. If you've already been using a trial version, you redo it again. You can have different days. So typically it's 30 days. I've been using this system, so that's why I'm showing the difference. So it will let you know. So if we scroll down, we want to make sure that we are in local node and verify that it is node B target 1, which is what we see here. And we want to be able to click on move to local node. So let's go ahead and proceed. Click the button, click move, and now it's syncing back. And what we're looking for is to make sure that the resources that was previously on node B that we moved over to node A is now being pulled back to node B. And thus you can see resources were moved successfully. So this is really a very effective way to use the trial version, to be able to purchase the product key without any downtime. Well, thank you everybody. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.